As you may know, Sega shut down all of their arcades in Japan in 2022 after 50 years in the arcade industry. However, what many people don't know is one arcade still remains. That is Tokyo Joypolis. Officially billed as an indoor amusement park, Joypolis is an arcade in everything but name. In fact, many of the amusement attractions or rides are in fact full-on video games with a physical or mechanical component. I would describe them as something of an evolution of classic Sega Deluxe arcade cabinets such as Space Harrier, Sega Rally, or even F-Zero. So today we're going to go exploring, and I'm going to give you reviews of all the rides and games I tried. And don't forget to stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to do a walkthrough of the gift shop where they have some really cool, rare, and exclusive Sega merch. So what do you say we get started exploring Japan's very last Sega arcade? So Joypolis is located about 15 to 30 minutes south of Tokyo on the subway. It depends where you're coming from. And the nearest station is Tokyo Teleport. You'll get out and follow this path, and you'll see the really big Joypolis and Sega signs in the distance, and you can just go ahead and follow those. And when you walk inside, there's this really cool, like super futuristic looking lobby. And you go through there and you'll get to the gift shop, and you pass the gift shop and you will see the first floor arcade. So this is a pretty standard Japanese arcade, especially like a modern arcade. There's lots of crane games, lots of redemption games, lots of rhythm games. There's also photo booths and things like that. And you can see here lots and lots of different crane games with different kinds of prizes. Lots of Demon Slayer stuff, Naruto stuff, and some redemption games here with some candy. And you've got Bishi Bashi here. And you've got My Deluxe, as well as some Beat Saber. And of course you've got your taiko drums. No Japanese arcade would be complete without these. Here we've got House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn. I had a ton of fun playing this one. It's pretty much your standard House of the Dead experience. You get inside the cabinet and you've got a couple of guns there to play with. They've got this really cool lighted up kind of holder for them as well. And yeah, this is very similar to the House of the Dead attraction that's on another floor. We'll talk about that in a bit. But the difference is that for this one, if you die, you have to put more money in, of course, to keep progressing with the story, where the other one is on a timer. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here we have Halfpipe Tokyo, which is actually a ride, but I think there's also a rhythm game component where you kind of spin around in time with the music and compete against the other players. Here you can see kind of an overview looking down from the second floor. There's a stage as well where they have performances. And finally, we are at Sonic Carnival. This area is really fun and really cool. So as you get to the entrance here, you can see they've got this nice Sonic statue with the Sonic Carnival sign above. And yeah, this area is basically, it's kind of like a carnival theme, right? So there's lots of redemption style games. There's lots of games that are probably more geared towards kids, like this here, this kind of like whack-a-mole style game. And they've got a few others, like a ring toss type game as well. But they've also got some video games. So they've got here Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. I love this version here with those old school 8-bit graphics. And here they've got Sonic Athletics. So this is a racing competition game. And I was filming really early, so there were no people here at the time. But jumping forward in time, you can see here, basically you get on this treadmill and race against other people. And what's really fun is you get to be all the different Sonic characters, from Sonic and Tails to like Metal Sonic and Shadow. And then they've got this Sonic Cafe, which is really funny because they really leaned into the whole chili dogs thing, and there's just tons of graphics of this Sonic here holding this like CG chili dog, which is kind of silly but just really fun if you're a fan of old school Sonic. And here's a little overview of the second floor. just looking at some of the different attractions. And this one is Wild Wing. I did not go on it, but I do know it is an Attack on Titan themed ride slash attraction, and I just wanted to highlight it because I thought the presence of it was really cool with these really big figures or statues outside the front. And here there's an Ace Attorney attraction, which I'm not exactly sure what the gameplay is like. Again, this is footage early when it was empty, and then later on it got very crowded. But I think it's like some sort of collaboration game where everybody plays together and tries to figure out like who's guilty. I'm not totally sure, but it was really cool that they had these artworks that were signed by the artists. These looked really nice. And what's always fun is the life-size statues of the characters that you can take photos with. And here we have Storm G. This was my absolute favorite game slash attraction slash ride, whatever you want to call it, of the entire arcade. It is an F-Zero style futuristic racer where you get into these cars and they lock you in so that you don't, fall out as the car moves and spins around. But basically you've got two joysticks and you control this futuristic car and you race through these pipes. Again, you can see here in the footage, like very similar to F-Zero, down to the way the strip graphics are for the boosts and everything like that. For a minute, I actually wondered if it was made by the same developer that did F-Zero GX, because Sega did do that GameCube and arcade game, but it seems like it was a different developer. Either way, it's a phenomenal game, and what I really like about this is, to me, it really captures that special feeling of going to the arcade that you used to get in like the 90s and the 2000s, where there was something at the arcade that you really couldn't get at home. And I feel like that's kind of been lost a little bit, but this really reignited that for me, that feeling of there's absolutely no way that I could do this at home, right? Because I'm never going to have this huge machine in my house that's going to flip me around and spin me as I'm playing this racing game. So it was just a really awesome arcade unique experience that, again, I could not recommend enough. And yeah, that's Storm G. So next up we have Mystic Mansion, and this one was so much fun. I highly recommend it. It's basically a yokai themed kind of haunted spooky ride. So yokai are Japanese spirits, and I just want to call out for a second the area that you wait in while you're online, because I thought the theming was just really cool. You're waiting online and you see all these cool old scrolls, and after you get off the ride, you'll actually kind of see how some of these are characters that are on the ride. But basically, in short, it's a 4D experience. So without spoiling anything, there's like heat and there's cold and there's wind and there's smoke, and you're also wearing 3D glasses. And you basically sit in this car, and this car moves around as you look at different 3D screens, and this kind of story plays out for you. But it was really fun. Waiting on the line was fun. They made the line kind of a little bit of an immersive experience, and yeah, overall I just had a ton of fun with this one. It was very unique and very enjoyable, and it felt like it was worth the wait. So that is Mystic Mansion. So next up, I took a little break to get some food at Frame Cafe, because at this point I had been walking around probably for like close to 3 hours. And I just wanted to highlight the cafe because it had this really absolutely stunning view of Tokyo Bay, probably the best view of Tokyo Bay that I've seen so far in Japan. And yeah, it was a really just nice place to take a little breather. And one fun thing about the cafe is they constantly run different collabs, and at this time they were doing a collab with Demon Slayer, so lots of the tables had different Demon Slayer characters on them, so that was pretty fun. Alright, next up we've got Wild Jungle Brothers. This was definitely also a ride, so it was pretty similar to the Mystic Mansion experience, although it was not 4D, and it was also not 3D, so no 3D glasses. But it was a fun experience. I think it would probably be one of my lower ranked in terms of all of the different things I did here. But I think it was fun. I think if you're really into like Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park style themed rides or attractions. I think you could have a lot of fun with it. Basically, yeah, you're just in a Jeep and you go through this kind of crash course 4-wheel drive ride on a Jeep through, ruins and mountains and things like that. It's a fun little ride. It made me a little bit motion sick though, so if you do get motion sick, just a heads up. But yeah, that was Wild Jungle Brothers. Next up, we have Transformers Human Alliance. I didn't go on this because I was feeling a little bit queasy from the last ride, and this looked pretty crazy. But this one is also a game, so you have controls inside, and you basically just go through as this crazy ball is spinning and try and shoot down opponents. It just felt like I had to highlight this one because of how crazy it looks. Next up, we have House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, the attraction. This was my number one most anticipated ride or attraction of the entire arcade. And, well, what did I think? Sadly, I do not think it was worth the wait. I waited on this line probably, at least an hour. It was a really, really long time. And while it was fun, it's not that different from the Scarlet Dawn arcade experience that you get on the first floor, just the small sit-down cabinet. It's basically the exact same game. The only difference is you're put on a team with another person and you play to compete for scores, and also the seat that you sit in has some pretty intense force feedback, and also that you can't die. So if you die in this game, you'll respawn after a few seconds, but it's time limited versus being limited by how much money you put it in. It also limits how far you can get in the story, so you can really only do the 5 or so minutes that they have you on the ride. It was fun, like I said, but I just don't think it was worth an hour when you could play the same game, more or less, on the first floor with 0 wait. So, cool. I think if you can skip the line or get one of those fast passes, I would recommend it. But otherwise, I'd say maybe you want to skip this, unless you're a hardcore House of the Dead fan. Next up, we have Sadako, also known as the Ring in the West. This looked like a really cool ride. Again, I did not get to go on this one because I was, at this point, probably been in there for 8 hours, and I was just super tired and could not do another wait. But this one looked really cool. I'm a big fan of Sadako or The Ring. I think it's a cool franchise. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for what I did here, but I just want to call out that there are way more rides and attractions and games, and you can see all of them on the Joypolis website. So there's Spicy Taxi, that's a taxi ride. There's Pirates Plunder. There's a VR shooting game, which I skipped because I was feeling a bit nauseous after doing one of the rides, but there's a bunch of stuff I skipped over, so don't feel like the only things that are here are the things that are in this video. Alright, now we are getting to my favorite part, the gift shop. They had so much cool exclusive Sonic merch here. But real quick, if you're interested in checking out additional videos, vlogs, behind the scenes posts, and things like that, consider joining my channel membership. There's lots of other cool perks, and I'll be posting at least one exclusive video per month. Just click the join link at the top of my YouTube page for more info. Alright, now back to the video. And we are finally at the gift shop. Guys, this was probably my favorite thing. I'm a huge Sonic and Sega fan, and they had so much cool merch here. I'm just excited to share it with you guys. They also had a bunch of anime merch. You can see here Demon Slayer, a lot of merchandise for the different franchises that that Joypolis tends to do collabs with. And you'll also see snacks and candies and lots of things like that. Over here, you've got a lot of buttons and stickers and pins. I think maybe also some magnets. And over here, I was actually really surprised to see a bunch of Pokemon cases for your ID or your Suica card and things like that. It was a fun little surprise seeing some Pokemon merch here in the Sega store. Some additional anime characters here. And moving along to the Sonic stuff, starting off with this Sonic Mania notebook planner. That first one is a little bit sun faded, but as you can see as I pull one out from the back, just a really cool little notebook planner. I'm a huge fan of Sonic Mania. I think it's the best Sonic game in a really long time, and yeah, it's cool seeing Sonic Mania merch. Lots of different Sonic stickers and things like that, some nano blocks, some Sonic Symphony World Tour merch. And a lot of this stuff was exclusive to this store, and some of it was also not exclusive to the store, but exclusive to Japan. So occasionally you'd see a piece of merch that said only sold in Japan or only sold at the Joypolis store, so that was cool. And I was obsessed with this Chow shirt. I wanted it so bad, but they only had sizes that were not good for me. And I went and I checked for extra sizes, but sadly they didn't have any. But I just love Chows, and it's hard to find Chow merch, believe it or not. Some more cool exclusive Sonic shirts, some tote bags, some buttons and phone cases, and here you got some Nendroids, which are cool. Nice little looking Sonic figures. And moving along, you've got some additional snacks here, and then some more snacks. So a part of this gift shop, I guess, is kind of like a traditional gift shop, just snacks and, whatnot. But we're going to turn around here and go to this section, which was really cool. So this was Sonic and Friends, which I guess is like a sub-brand of plushies and accessories, and it's all really cute looking. Those Sonic heads actually remind me of that like 90s Sonic Ice Pop. If you're from the US, that would always be in ice cream trucks. Anyway, they've got these really cute like bags and towels and plushies and straps. And these little Sonic plushes were so cute. And these were among the ones that said only sold in Japan. And I went ahead and I picked up some of the Sonic ones because I just thought they were so cool. And I actually looked on eBay, and they're being sold for like 3 or 4 times the price on eBay in the United States as what they're sold for here. So I wouldn't say they're rare, but they're definitely hard to get a hold of. And yeah, I just love the style of this merch. Really cool old school Sonic stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the gift shop. And that is Sega's Joypolis, the very last Sega arcade in Japan. Guys, what did you think of this video? I would love to know your thoughts, your opinions. If you want to go, again, I highly recommend Storm G. I think it's worth it for that, for the trip alone. This is also really close to the Gundam statue, so if you guys are going to check that out, you can just like pop in. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about the fact that there's no more Sega arcades in Japan? It's kind of sad, right? But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, or even better yet, if there's somebody that you think would enjoy this video, if you could go ahead and share it with them, that would really, really help me out and help the channel out. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you all, and I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, bye.